J.J. Abrams gave me some of the best advice I've ever been given in acting. And that was when I was struggling with a scene, which was absolutely killing me. He said to me, "What's going on?" And I said, "Well, this is what I'm thinking." And I went on and on and on and on and on about all the things I was trying to play and all the things I was trying to do and the amount of time I'd spent preparing and all these things. And he said to me, "Whoa, okay, I want you to try something. For the next take, I want you to think in your head, jeans, 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 as in denim, Jeans, jeans. Just say that word over and over and over in your head." And I said, "Okay, I'll try anything at this point." So I did it, and it worked. It worked fabulously because it cleared my head of all of these notions I had of how the scene should turn out and how the character should be played and how the emotions should be conveyed and all of the things that I was trying to create, and allowed me to just be.
Your character is in you, and it will simply live, and you have to trust that. Being on an episodic for a long run, you learn to trust that.
I ain't gonna kill Jack. He deserves to suffer on this rock just like the rest of us.
The strength of any character work is to find it in you, that aspect of yourself that is that personality, and then blow it up, and then let the rest of you come through. But you can't just be that one thing. You have to let the rest of you come through, or it's one note and it's boring.
What I do remember hearing was, don't be afraid to play moments that don't put you in the best light.
이 모습 좀 봤니? 이 옷하고 얼굴이 너무 더러워 보여. 빨리 씻으라.
Because it's only by going fully in that direction that you can actually come back fully to the other direction. And I thought that was a great note. And it gave me the freedom to not have fear in making those kinds of choices.
Early on, I'd always say that the difference between me and Hurley was that I'm a better speller. There's so much we don't have, so you kind of fill it in with your own imagination.
Do I know you from somewhere?
When I'd be presented with a blank to fill, I would fill it with something close to my personality. Like, okay, well, how would I deal with this situation?
In season one, very early on, I wrote a full character biography. You know, his history, where he was born, the things he liked to do, how he came to do what he's doing, how he met his wife, all of those things. That's, to me, that's all kind of actor homework 101.
With Locke and with everybody on the show, we started out with no history, no script, no future. We didn't know how it ended. We didn't even know how it started. We didn't know. When I started doing the show, I didn't realize that I had been in a wheelchair in the airplane until like the third episode.
As an actor, you want to know as much as you can to build a history. And on the other hand, this show has been an incredible lesson in, for me at least as an actor, in just being present with the material you have, sort of using your imagination to fill in sort of gaps of history, and trusting the writers, the writing.
Yeah, but if that's what you really want, Ben, if that's what you want, you're going to have to be very, very patient.
But it's been an amazing experience because, you know, on the one hand, you're never fully sure, and on the other hand, that kind of adds a certain energy to the scene.
The challenge there was knowing that they were going to do flashbacks. Creating your own backstory could be a good thing or could be not. If you then read 10 episodes later, your backstory is completely off to what you thought. So I developed more of, like, I think just a vibe for her as opposed to specific moments in her past.
I think I would have played Sun very differently had I known that Sun was going to be who she is now, you know, in season one. But then again, I kind of liked the fact that I had no idea who she was going to be. Left a lot of doors open.
Sometimes you think, well, maybe I'd have done this different had I known that. That's a very human way to act. To not do everything how you expect to do is exactly how people are.
And there is a sort of a special alchemy between, I think, the cast and the writers and the director. You know, the director sort of steers you emotionally in different ways without you necessarily knowing the logic behind it. And then again, also the scripts, the scene directions are pretty filled with some explanations, at least emotional explanations about where you should be emotionally.
I mean, the challenges in this role have always been living up to the writing. And the writing's been so good. It's been trying to come up to their game.
When I first get a script, I kind of like to map out the emotional line of my character, what I'm doing in that particular episode.
I do graft things. I certainly like to have an arc or sort of graph to where this character is.
No, listen, Penny, I need you.
You know, I say, you know, that's a 6, that's a 7, that's a 10.
Did you just experience something, Desmond?
I look at the scenes that I have coming up the next day, and I try to figure out what my objective is in the scene and what the character's objective is.
You start out with your intention. What do I want? Throughout this episode, what's my major goal? And try to find out what is my conflict.
I can take you to him right now.
I don't believe you.
I want to know my lines for sure. And I want to kind of have a small idea as to how I think they should sound when they come out of my mouth, in a way. Like, I think it kind of goes like this. But I want it loose enough that when I'm there, I'm discovering things and finding moments that I go, oh, I could totally do it this way now. And if I'm lucky, I get the last close-up. Because then I can work on it with everybody else for a while and keep playing and do different things and then narrow down my decision when the camera's finally on me. Because there's nothing sucks worse than you get the new idea and the camera's not even on you anymore. Then it's like, that was the one. I should have done that.
Something is always going to go a little bit wrong, or sometimes a lot wrong in a fight scene. And I thought I was going to get out of Lost without a major ding, but it wasn't to be.
It's a lot of work. You have to really live that kind of desperation and loss. In order for the audience to take the journey with you, you need to go there and living those moments, and that's never fun.
Playing somebody who has this extra sense, you know, and he deals with death and stuff like that, it made me think a lot about death and people I've lost over the years. It made me go very kind of internal.
What's challenging about playing Ben is that he spends so much of his time in a cold and unfeeling mode that then when the big emotional stuff is called upon, like the death of his daughter, I have to stretch to find those hotter, more passionate colors.
John, what are you doing?
All the Ben and Locke scenes tend to work pretty well. We just approach our work the same way.
Where do you get electricity?
We have 2 giant hamsters running in a massive wheel at our secret underground lair.
Yeah, that's funny.
We're 2 older gentlemen of similar backgrounds.
Couldn't find the Anthuriums, could you?
I don't know what they look like.
We have similar attitude about the work, how seriously to take it or how not seriously to take it.
Is he talking about what I think he was talking about?
If you mean time-traveling bunnies, then yes.
I try not to take, as in life, too much baggage when I travel. With a character either, I don't really want too much baggage. If he's Puffy, as I call the smoke monster, Puff, the magic dragon.
You?
Me. If he's Puff, it's not like I drive to work with an attitude. I look how he looks. I put on the makeup, they put on the scar, a little dirt, a little sweat, and you try to accomplish the scene.
I've learned so much about my craft and also become freer in it and able to share a lot more than I was able to before.
It's not your fault she's dead. I made her stay on this island because I didn't want to be alone.
To be able to work consistently for 6 years really opens you up. You know, it opens your instincts up, your confidence to explore things that you wouldn't do before, all of those things. So as far as my craft, I'm confident now and I enjoy it.